All right, let's dive right in. Today, we are going to unpack one of the most powerful ideas in all the finance. But don't worry, we're not breaking out the calculators or the boring spreadsheets. Nope, instead, we're going to talk about snow.
So first, let's meet our two guides for today. Over on the left, you've got Nam. Nam is all of us when we want results right now. You can see him there getting super frustrated with that tiny plant because it's not growing fast enough. And on the right, that's Specs. Specs is all about logic, patience, just calmly hanging out at the top of a snowy mountain. And this clash in how they see the world, well, that's at the very heart of everything we're talking about today.
And this is pure gnome. I mean, it's a feeling we've all had, right? You finally start investing, you put some money in, and you check it the next day expecting, well, a miracle. And when it's not a Lamborghini, you kind of feel cheated.
Which brings us right to the heart of the problem, what we call the impatient investor. It's this constant tug-of-war between our desire for that instant fix and, well, the quiet, sometimes slow reality of how wealth is actually built.
This is where Specs chimes in with probably the best analogy you'll ever hear for this. Investing? It's a slow cooker, not a microwave. You can't just throw your money in, hit a button, and expect a 5-star meal in 30 seconds. The real value, the deep, rich flavor, that stuff takes time to develop.
So let's really dig into this idea, this microwave versus slow cooker mindset, because when you truly understand the difference, you unlock what is arguably the most powerful force in the entire financial universe.
And here it is. In its purest, most academic form, it looks like this, a terrifying math formula. Now, this equation is the engine inside the slow cooker. It's the reason patience pays off. But let's be real, looking at this doesn't really help, does it? In fact, for most of us, it does the exact opposite.
Yep, pretty much this right here. You see a jumble of letters and numbers like that, and your brain just goes, nope, it shuts down. It's confusing, it's intimidating, and it makes you want to just close the tab and walk away. So we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to do what Specs would do. We're going to toss that formula right out the window, forget the math completely. We're going to use a much, much simpler picture to explain everything. We're going to talk about snow.
And this is it, the snowball metaphor. It's just a simple story that makes this whole powerful concept finally click. No calculator required, I promise.
Okay, so think of it like this. Your money can go down two very different paths. On the left, you have what's called simple interest. This is when you spend your gains. It's like trying to carry a handful of fresh snow. What happens? It just melts and disappears, right? It never gets any bigger. But on the right, that's compound interest. That's when you reinvest your gains. This isn't just catching snow, this is packing it into a tight little ball and giving it a gentle push down a long, snowy hill. And it's so important to remember that it always starts small, like ridiculously small. Just one tiny push. You take a little bit of money, your first little snowball, and you just get it rolling. And honestly, this is the exact moment where so many people get discouraged and quit because it feels like absolutely nothing is happening.
But if you can just fight that urge to stop, if you can just let it keep rolling, you get to witness the real magic. That tiny push is what eventually leads to the avalanche of wealth. This is where the true, mind-blowing power of the snowball is finally unleashed. Just look at how this plays out over time. After a whole year, your snowball is, well, it's the size of a softball. You might be thinking, that's it? All that waiting for this? But just stick with it. By year 10, that softball has become a boulder. Now it's got some real momentum. And then the magic really kicks in. The growth isn't steady anymore. It starts to accelerate like crazy. And by year 30, whoa, that little softball is now a massive, unstoppable avalanche.
And that's the secret right there. It creates this incredible, powerful cycle. Your original money makes a little bit of new money. But then, that new money gets to work and starts making even more money on its own. It's a feedback loop that just keeps feeding itself, getting bigger and more powerful over time.
Now, for this whole process to work, for that little snowball to actually become an avalanche, it needs one crucial, non-negotiable ingredient. And here's the catch. It is the one thing in this entire equation that you absolutely cannot buy.
So what do you think it is? What is this one thing that makes all the difference between a softball and an avalanche? It's not about starting with a ton of money. It's not about picking the perfect stock. What is this magical ingredient?
It's time. That's it. That is the secret ingredient. You see, the real power of compounding isn't how much money you have. It's how long you give that money to do its thing.
The more time you have, the bigger and more dramatic the results become.
And this right here is why patience is so critical. As Specs would tell you, the snowball needs a long, uninterrupted hill to roll down. Every time you pull money out, you're not just taking that cash, you are literally stopping the snowball in its tracks. You kill all that incredible momentum it's built up, and you force it to start over, but smaller this time.
So what does this all mean for you? Well, it really just boils down to 4 simple things. Number 1, start as early as you possibly can. The longer the hill, the bigger the snowball. Simple as that. 2, be consistent. Even small amounts, added regularly, do wonders. 3, let it roll. You have to resist that temptation to stop it or pull from it. And finally, number 4, never forget that in this game, patience is your absolute superpower.
Look, at the end of the day, pretty much anyone has the ability to start this process. The tools have never been easier to access, so the only real question left is the one right there on your screen. Your snowball is just sitting at the top of the hill, waiting. When are you going to give it that first push?